Hello, Flosstube. My name is Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches, and this is my channel about cross stitch. This is my Flosstube update number 297. Today is September 2nd, 2023. And I have today as I've been calling it, a plethora of pillow finishes. And a sort of a, WIPGO redemption, yeah, I guess you could call it. As my sister says, there's no such thing as a cross-stitch police, but if there were, I'd be like making up for all my errors. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I was unable to meet my WIPGO goals at the end of July, partly because I was a little overly ambitious, I guess, and partly because we had three WIPGO calls for July. I don't use the free space. I have something in every space, and so I had three WIPGO calls for July, three WIPGO numbers, and so because I have an FFO, at least one FFO for each box, I ended up with a whole bunch of FFOs, because one of them I had a whole bunch of smalls. I have had a lot of smalls just sitting there, waiting to be finished in some way. So I've shown some of them. I showed the bunny, it was a little bunny pattern that I got at Hobby Lobby that I put on a wooden bunny that I got at Hobby Lobby also. And then the other one was the Owl Forest embroidery, small things. There was one called Elephant and Pug, and the other one was Dragonfly and Ant from their Fable series, I guess. So I did finish those two, the Owl Forest one and the bunny, the Artiste bunny. I did do those in July, but the rest of those of the smalls and stuff that I had did not get done in July, but I got them all done by the end of August. Part of it was I was my sister was helping me. She was by sewing all the pillow stuff, and for various reasons it got put off. She had some health issues. She had various other issues and stuff, so it didn't get done until later. But it's all done now. And then I also had what I've been calling the accursed Santa. I'm just had all kinds of problems with him. But I did finish that. I did the one that had the little gap. Then I was going to put the Santa charm on it. So, but I did finish them. And then I also did a little bit of stitching. So let's start with the stitching. So at the end of August, I had sort of a limbo time. I had finished my WIPGO calls. The one that I was working on at the end of August was Daily Walk in the Woods, of Carol Manning Designs, Sal from 2018, 19, something like that. And I didn't have that here because it was basically the same as last week, except that I did finish the leaves of the tree, the one tree I was working on. Finished that, so that tree was finished, and I backstitched the little bird in the nest and everything. I don't think I have that with me here, but anyway, so I just finished what I was working on that last tree, and so I think I probably did 7 days or something like that instead of the goal was 6, and I think I did 7 days to finish that, the tree and the bird, to get that one tree done. So so there was that. And so then I had the next few days, I was working on some of the finishes and stuff like that. And, but I wanted to do a little bit of stitching, you know, in those last few days, even though I was concentrating on the FFOs and stuff. But so I did do a little bit more on this mother stitch. And that is, I finished all the leaves to here. This is the part of it's underneath here. But I finished all the leaves. This I had done up to about here. So I finished them. All of this stuff. This is all that was left. And I did these little medallion symbol, excuse me, whatever they are here. And so then there's several backstitch words. And I don't know what that is. But so the instructions don't say whether these are backstitched with 1 thread or 2 threads. But I used 2 because they showed up better this way. And also because this is such a loose weave, this fabric has such a loose weave to it that you have to be really careful with tension because the stitch anything you stitch just pulls on the threads of the fabric. So but also because of the color, I guess, and the sort of muted colors involved. Like this, especially this gray, they tend to disappear on this fabric. So, I'm doing the back stitching with 2 threads, and so there's a few other words. And again, on this pattern right here, there's an A and a P, and I'm assuming that has to do with the initials of somebody's mother, you know, either the person who designed it or the person who stitched it. I think it's the person who designed it because this is in the chart. These 2 letters, and there's not like an alphabet or something like that, so you could put your own mother's initials here. So if there's some other significance to AP, I don't know what it is. But I'm assuming it's like I said, somebody's mother. But so all these other words, you know, I have to stitch, and then these, these little symbols here, and then I have to figure out something to do with these where the flowers are supposed to go or whatever. This was finished. Looks like a flat fold or something like that, and I don't know. I still don't know how I'm going to finish it, but anyway. So I did a little bit more on that. So really, all that's left is the words, and then the little symbols like this that go over here, and so there's really it's really almost done, but so I worked on that a little bit more. And I'm going to put this over here. And then I also worked a little bit on, I've been doing the animals from A Year in the Woods, right? And so I did a lot on the fox. That was the very first one of that series. These are by Cottage, golly, I can't say it. Cottage Garden Samplings. Vinniey P.S. Tan is the designer. So I did the first 3. The fox, the swans, I should say. I started the first 3. I didn't finish them. The fox, the swans, and the jackrabbit. Yeah. So I did the most on the fox. I did a little bit on the swans, a little bit less on the jackrabbit, and then the 4, 5, and 6. 4 is the raccoon, and I just did a little bit of this. I did this little bitty flower thing and this little triangle of a flower here, and I just have not gotten any further on that one. And the ferret, I just did like a little bit of this flower here. And so now I'm going to do a little bit of the bear. I'm assuming I'm going to start over here and do some of these cattails here, you know. And it's just that I have a new start for every number that's called for WIPGO. And so I've done, like I said, I've done a little bit of the number 4, the what did I just say? The raccoon here. And a little bit of the ferret. And so I've been working, so I worked a little bit on the border here so this is the end of the ferret and the beginning of the bear. So I've got this sort of placed so that I can do the bear when the time comes. And if I have time, I can do maybe a little bit more on each of those designs so that they're not so, the beginnings of them aren't so negligible. But anyway, so I stitched you know, on that border to go across there to finish it. And then I got on my, as of September 1st, I was kind of like, I was working on that border kind of late at night, and I was like trying to get to the end of the thread so I could start on right on September 1st. So I was up late anyway, because otherwise I would have waited, you know, until the morning and worked on it during the day. But since, you know, I was up late anyway, I thought, okay, well, once it hits, you know, once I finish this thread and it hits after midnight, then I can start on the WIPGO, one of the WIPGO pools. So I started with Winter Gathering, and this is a Dimensions kit. The designer is Kim Martin for Dimensions. And so I just absolutely love this picture. These little ghosty trees, and then there are some little fronds up here of green, and there's some snow in there. But I did finish these. There was a couple of the one color left on these two stockings. There's a bunch of French knots and backstitching in all these in all the stockings, and like these birds' legs and outlines are backstitched and all that. So I haven't any of the backstitching or French knots or anything like that. And I've done just little bits and pieces of some of these little ghosty trees. But I have finished, I think, these 4 birds, and as far as the stitching is concerned. And this one I just finished yesterday. And I've started working on this one here. I think their hats were partly done before, so I've done a little bit more on their hats. And that's where I am. So when I started, this bird here was partly done. The hat was partly done. The bird body was partly done. But so I finished this since then. And actually, there was one stitch missing as I was stitching along. And that doesn't look right. And there was one of them that I had missed there. So I went back and fixed that. And then, like I said, I finished the stockings here. There was this additional, the outer colors on this stocking, and then the stripes, one of the colors of the stripes here. But so then like I said, I finished this bird, and now I'm working on this guy here. And I should be able to probably finish him maybe by the end of the day today. And then this little guy, you know, so I've only done, yesterday was the first day, and I've done a little bit today. Then, you know, maybe I can get some more of those. Like I said, I've done a little bit of these little trees on this side, but not all of them. And the trees are like, they're half stitches and they're also blended. So this design, it's all 2 over 1. It came with the kit came with this Ada, and I think it's 14 count, I'm sure. Yeah. 14 count light blue Ada came with the kit. It came with all the threads and stuff. So like I said, though, the trees are half stitches and they're blends. So it's, you know, one thread of one color, one thread of another. And so, and then there's some, like I said, there's white working out in here. So, but hopefully, maybe by the end of these 6 days, I'll be able to finish the trees. It'd be nice to finish this. But like I said, the goal is only 6 days, but it, since it really does it does go very quickly. So maybe I can finish it if I work really hard. So that was the stitching that I've done so far. But I did a bunch of finishing. Oh, before I show you all the finishing, I'm gonna show you this bag. I don't know that I'll use it for a project bag because it's a little bit like when I got it the other day at the doctor's office. I had an appointment and they had these. I'm guessing a drug rep or somebody, you know, paid them a visit and had these little things, you know, giveaways there on the counter where you signed in. And so I asked the receptionist signing person there, you know, can I take one of these? And she said, yeah, sure, because they were just sitting there. And so they're gusseted on the bottom here, so they expand a little bit because I guess they're meant to, you know, you throw all your prescription bottles in here. Take me to your doctor, it says. And it says, please use this bag to bring all of your prescription medications with you so we can discuss your medications during our visit, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But so I could, you know, so the other day I took all these, Eve sewed all the pillows pretty quickly, you know, but so I wanted to, I was kind of down to the wire. I wanted to finish them by the 31st, by the end of the month. And so on the 30th, that was my nephew's birthday. So we had spent a lot of the evening at my sister's house. And so during the day, Eve had sewn the pillows and all that. And I'd been doing some other finishing while she was sewing the pillows. And so Wednesday night when we got back, I was very tired, and I thought, well, I didn't really want to stitch, but I felt like I could work on the pillows. So I grabbed my little bag of polyfill. It's actually almost gone. I just have a little bit left. But I grabbed my bag of polyfill and I used this to stick all the little unfilled pillows in there. And then I was lying in bed watching TV and stuffing all these pillows. And I didn't think to take like my little stuffer stick, you know, chopstick thing with me. But so I couldn't get the corners, you know, completely right. But I did, you know, use my finger and stuff in there. And then so I stuffed all the pillows and I stuck them back in here. And since it's gusseted, it expanded very nicely. And I was able to stick all the pillows in there. And so on the 31st, then I came out here and to the living room where I was working on them. And got my little chopstick and, you know, double checked and made sure all the corners were good. And just sat there and sewed them all. And then I chose some finishes, trims to put on there. And I did one thing that I have not done before, because usually when I work on trims for pillows, I've used either cording that I've made or chenille or yarn or whatever to finish them. And usually I just whip stitch that on, and you know, it's fine. But this time the finishes either, you know, suggested to me either ribbons or something like that, and I didn't want to, sew the ribbon on there. Although, one thing I thought about was, I think it's Luminous Fiber Arts had designed a couple of things, and when she finished them, she did a ruche ribbon finish on there, and so there's a tutorial that she did on there about how to do them, and I think Vonna Pfeiffer has a tutorial about that also, I think. But I haven't watched it, and I didn't want to experiment with this, and so, but I think I'll probably use it, one of these days. But so I came very close to doing the ruche ribbon finish, but then I changed my mind. So all of these actually are the trims are glued on, which is, a different thing for me, but it worked out really well. But anyway, so, but first, before I get to all that, the cursed Santa, this little Santa, it had caused me some problems. This is the one that I cut it wrong when I first finished it. Cut it wrong, and yeah. So then I recut the little cardboard backing that came with it, and I finished it this way on this ornament, and that I got at Hobby Lobby. It's a little metal ornament. It comes with a little jute hanger. So I cut it and and put it on this square, and I did this ribbon trim on there, and this is the one that had the little gap where I didn't quite make the ribbon. It had a little gap, you could see the white that this is stitched on. So I did make a little bow, made a little ribbon, and stick it on there, and this is the little Santa charm. And when I went to put it on, you can see right there's a little chip in the enamel on Santa's hat. It wasn't there when I first got the charm, so I don't know, somehow in storing it or whatever, it got chipped. So anyway, if you look at it, if it's hanging on the tree, you can't really tell that the chip is there, but I know it's there. Anyway, so it's finally finished. It's cute. So that was one leftover thing. And then, like I said, I had a whole bunch of other smalls. The bunny I finished. And then Nativity, that's another one I already finished. So Totally Lovable was the one I wanted to make into a needle minder. And I had finished it on a piece of foam core the first time around. And I did the purple fabric foam core thing. And when I put them together, they were badly done as far as the corners were concerned. And I think the foam core was a little too thick, and with the two thick pieces put together, it just looked really big and clunky, and I didn't like it. So I took it apart. I used my what do you call it, blade thing, like a packing box, blade. For some reason, I can't think of the name. But anyway, I just sort of wedged it in there and busted the two pieces apart. And then because I used that Aleene's craft glue, it's water soluble like Elmer's glue. So I threw away the back piece, but the front, this part, I just kind of soaked it with water, and it and the glue came off of the foam core that was glued onto, and I just cleaned it up a little bit, and then I remounted it. So this time I had some sticky board. I just came across a piece that I had cut down for something else, and I had enough of it there to do this on. So I cut some foam core so it's not as wide, and I had this rickrack. I bought it purple to match the purple heart shape, and so I did that, and I finished it with the same purple fabric that I had before, and then I glued a magnet on the back. So yeah, it's a needle minder. This is Turtly Lovable by Lindsey Stitches. It was a little freebie that she was giving out for a while with orders that were placed with her. So I got Turtly Lovable. So that's done. Yay. And then my other smalls where's the cat? Oh, here. Okay. Is this cat from Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting? It's a blog that she has there, and she has some freebies on her blog. So this is one of them, and I stitched this on Lugana. I want to say 32 count Lugana, I think. But so this is the cording I used on the bunny, the little bunny thing. But I liked the color, and it matched this orange backing fabric very nicely. So yeah, there's the kitty. And it looks a little Halloweenish. I almost used purple. I have some purple trim, kind of like this, I think, also ribbon. This little cording trim. I have it in purple also. So I almost put it on there because I thought, it would look a little Halloweeny, but there's no purple in here, and I had not chosen purple for the backing fabric, but so I think it looks good with orange. So like I said, it looks a little Halloweeny. It's not specifically Halloween-ish, I don't think, but it works, for Halloween. So anyway, there's that. It's by like Pinker and Pumpkin Designs, I guess, or Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. I don't know. And so this then, let me see if I've got it right set up. There's the bottom, okay. Doesn't matter. This was a little freebie kit that I got at the attic. I'm assuming I got it last year, I think. And I think it was from during their weekend, their Bristol weekend, by Lanyap Designs, I think is what the name of the company was. But it was just this little pattern, and it came as a kit. Came with this backing fabric and the thread, and this I want to say, I don't know what the fabric is, but it's just yeah. So I found this this purple purple ribbon with a little bit. I think I used this on. Oh yeah, I used it on another thing there, but I thought it matched this shade matched the thread here very nicely, because I almost used some ribbon I had that would have been a little redder like this, but this looked better with the red of the threads. So that's my sister said, a pillow for your big toe. It's very tiny. And then this one I had just finished this. It's You I Like. And I think this design part with the words was done, I think, by Bendy Stitchy, Michelle Garrett. It was something that I think Kitten Stitcher is the one who first mentioned it. It's a there's a Mr. Rogers song. It's You I Like. It's not the color of your hair or something like that. But anyway, but so I designed this little border thing because I stitched it before for a friend of mine, but I had this sort of weird red fabric that I haven't really done much else on because of it's such a strange color. But so I stitched this little saying, and then I had just left it sitting around, for a long time, and I think, I don't know what the fabric is. It might be Hardinger. I don't know. It might be something else. But then this blue cording, I don't know if we can get a really good look at it. It's a little, it's kind of shiny, and golly, I don't know. I've had it for a long time. I didn't even know what I used it for before, but I thought it matched this backing fabric very nicely. It looks good on there. There's a little, I've seen there's a little gap right here because this cording is actually kind of stiff. So, and I was trying not to get glue everywhere. So there's a little gap there where it didn't quite get glued down, but anyway. But I don't know what I'm going to do. It's just, it's just a nice little pillow thing. And then the other one I had was this Christmas at Winterberry Cabin. So I had finished this. Actually, I had meant to give it to my mom as a Christmas present the year that she passed away. And she passed away in December, right? Just before Christmas. So this was going to be her Christmas present. But, so anyway, I finally finished it. And this is by Christmas at Winterberry Cabin by Brenda Gervais with Ideal and Thread. And this is 2/2 on, I want to say 32 count. Coffee tea dyed linen, I think. Sorry about the sunshine on there. But yeah, so then I backed it with Lady Dot Creates Velveteen in String Bean, I think, is the color back here. And then this red ribbon, it's a kind of a cloth ribbon. I thought it went very nicely with the red of Santa's robe there. And it's a little subtle. You can't really, it doesn't stand out. I think the model on the pattern, they finished with those rusty jingle bells, and there were a few around it, I guess. And I thought about, I have some little teeny weeny jingle bells. I have them they're in different colors, green and red and gold and silver. But they're very shiny, and this is a very prim looking stitch. They're the greens and aren't a little on the duller browner side, I guess. So I had some ribbon that had green. It was kind of this color of beige or whatever, ecru, natural, not ecru, but this other color. But there were green Christmas trees, and I thought, well, look, that looks, just looking at it, I thought that might work. But the green wasn't the right shade for this, and it wasn't the right shade for any of these colors. And so this red ribbon I liked better. And this ribbon is it was from Michael's, I think. I don't know, it was last Christmas or the Christmas before. There was just I don't know, several spools, maybe 5 spools, I don't even know, with a whole bunch of Christmas things on them. Maybe I got 2 packages of something, but they had those green Christmas trees, this red ribbon. They had several different kinds of Christmassy, kind of ribbons, but the spools didn't say how long they were, and really they're not much longer than it takes to do this pillow. I had like, you know, maybe 6 inches left or whatever after I did this. So the spools are not very long, but like I said, they don't say how you know how many yards or whatever, how many inches each spool has. But you know, so you just have to guesstimate. But anyway, so I like that, the way that came out. So that was Christmas at Winterberry Cabin. So that was all my July finishes that got postponed. So for August, I had 3 finishes and 3 FFOs to do. One of them was Beneath the Bough, this little pin cushion thing, and this is the back side of it. And this was a kit from Chessie and me. So these little acorns, the caps are done in satin stitches, and I think the base of the acorn, if I remember correctly, I think they're done in maybe Algerian eyelids or something like that. Specialty stitches, I think, in this little acorn and these 2 back here. And the initials here, I don't think there was an alphabet provided. I think, you know, so really, or maybe there was, I don't know. I don't have the pattern in front of me here. But like I said, this M probably should have been a little, these letters probably should have been a little further down, just because they're not really, not quite centered exactly. I don't know. But it came out pretty nice. And this one, I thought about doing a trim on there, but then I just like the way it looks without it. It's yeah, because of that border on there, I don't think it needs the trim and everything. So just like it. And then another one I had for the month of August, I had 2 together, was Good Must I Be and Hippity Hop. So Good Must I Be is by, I want to say, Homespun Elegance. And I remember that I had these ornament forms, and I think they're also from Hobby Lobby, and they're just like a distressed finish on them. So I glued the design to a piece of sticky board, I think, also, and trimmed it with that maroon ribbon trim. And then this is just a little stick-on thing that I had of holly. But yeah, so there's Good Must I Be. So Santa will come see me. And like I said, I think this is by Homespun Elegance. It's 2/2. I should have done 1/2, but you know, whatever. Yeah. So he's got his little candy cane and stocking there. Yeah. And there's that. And then Hippity Hop. This was done, I want to say 1/2. I think I said 1/1 last week. It's 1/2 on, I think, 46 count fabric there. And I have a thing about, in my mind, this should have been in the center. It should have been underneath this flower here, just over a scooch. But when I was lining it up, I was looking at this bunny and this, its bottom, and so it's kind of right under that bunny. But then later on, I realized when I was sewing it, I'm like, oh, that's not really, this bunny isn't really in the middle because of the width of this H here. This flower right here is really the middle, because there's 3 here and 3 here, and there's 7 all, so this is the middle. Yeah. But I have this bunny ribbon here, and so there's just a little line of glue where these 2 pieces are sewn together. I put a little line of glue to hold this ribbon, to secure the ribbon in place so it wouldn't flop around, because I didn't want to sew this into, in any way. So I sewed it, where it's these two pieces meet the back piece. It's sewn when you do the seam here, but it's not sewn in the front. It's just, I just glued it down so it wouldn't, there wouldn't be a gap there. Like I said, I didn't want to sew on the ribbon itself. So there's, this orange fabric, and this is from, I don't know, either, I want to say, it's from Hobby Lobby maybe, but it was like those little bundles of fabric. But anyway, so I also edged it with this orange cording on there. So, yeah, that's Hippity Hop by Lindsey Waite of Primrose Cottage Stitches, I think. Yeah, I've shown that pattern or whatever for. So this is my plethora of pillow finishes. All my finishes as of the end of August. So in August I did my cross stitch camp piece. I did a new start for the Ferret, and the cross stitch camp piece was a new start and a finish, and then I finished all the July stuff finally, and the August finishes, FFOs. So August ended up being a pretty productive month, but in combination with all those July finishes. So I'm hoping that September will work out well also. Most importantly, I hope I can finish or get close to a finish on that winter gathering piece. I'm getting some glare now that it's later in the afternoon. But for my FFOs for this month, I want to say, I'm not done yet. So the baby sampler and the Merry Christmas penguin, I showed those last week. So those are my two finishes, and I think the way I've always, back in the day, before I really did pillow finishes, all the stuff that I finished before I finished as like hanging, framed hangings, and so what I would usually do is, I'm sorry, is Hobby Lobby used to carry these pieces of these frame pieces where you could buy like you'd buy 2 lengths for the width and 2 lengths for the height, and they had I think 6 inches was the smallest on up to larger length. But I noticed a couple of months ago that they had a handful of those frame pieces left, and they were in their clearance section, and I don't think they carry them any longer. I have not seen them anymore. And of course, Michael's, has always had fewer things, both stores still have, empty frames or whatever, so theoretically I could find something along those lines. But I really like those, put together yourself kind of frames, because, it's, easier to get exactly the right size. And I know there's an art shop here that my sister's gone to for other things, for art supplies there, and I've seen those frame kits there. Of course, I never bought them there because I'm sure they're more expensive than at Hobby Lobby. But I didn't have any reason to buy them there, before. But with this baby sampler, I'm because I do want to finish it in a frame. I can probably find the right size in a commercial, just a regular, pre-made frame or whatever. I don't want to have to pay more to have it professionally framed. I don't want to do that because I'm a cheapskate. But I might spring for the frame pieces, at this art place. Depending on, I haven't actually sat down and measured how big exactly I want to make the frame or whatever, or to see if Hobby Lobby would have like a frame that I could use or whatever. So so that remains to be seen. And then with the little penguin, I'm not sure. I want to do, like probably a flat finish of some kind for that, just because I think it lends itself to that. Excuse me, I'm going to drink. Lovely beverage. But anyway, so that's coming up, hopefully by the end of the month, and after I do Spring Scamper. So then the other thing, my sister was finishing that wooden piece, that long wooden piece with the hooks on it. I don't know if you watched Three Sisters Creative, she talked about it on there. She showed it a couple times, but she stained that, and actually then has to wait several days to make sure it's completely dry before she uses it. So while she was doing that, we were talking about it, and that I had some pieces that I bought at the dollar store, and I told her, we were talking about that, and I said, well, I thought about that the other day when I was finding stuff to finish all my smalls and stuff like that. I thought if I used this, because it was unfinished wood there at the dollar store, so I thought, well, if I used it, I would have to paint it or stain it or something, and I don't have any immediate plans for it. But since she was staining that other piece already, she offered to go ahead and stain it for me. So it took the stain fairly well, but you can kind of see where it was glued together that did not take stain. And so the inside, it's okay, but the back side looks really pretty. So if I use it, see the side, if, like I said, where the glue was, and there were like, even fingerprints, so you can kind of see where, when they put it together, it's, made in China, everything but the back looks really pretty. So I might even just, mount something on the back and just have it, sitting that way, I don't know, but anyway, so this has been stained so I can do something with it in the future. And then the other thing was, I did a little bit of a bad thing, a little bit of haul. So, in dangerous thing, I was thinking about this in the middle of the night. And ordinarily, when it comes to cross-stitch things, I usually use my debit card, which, the money comes right out of my checking account. So, like I said, I don't have a whole lot to spare, for that sort of thing, that sort of self-indulgent thing. And so I was thinking about it, and with this Black Cat Season series that Lindsey Stitches, Stephanie Webb of Lindsey Stitches, came up with. And from the minute she started talking about them and showed them on Flosstube, I thought, I really need to have those. I want that series of patterns. But it came with, there were 4 different things. There were the patterns themselves, there was a floss pack for the all the patterns, and there was the fabric, which was by I think Grace Notes Fabrics, and it was a special shape because the way she designed it to be it can be finished as a bell pull, which we don't really most people don't really use them nowadays, but they used to be that it was a fabric pull that you could pull on, and it would ring a bell in the servants' quarters, and the servant would know, oh, the madam of the house wants, something. But so you could, pull this to ring for whatever. Anyway, so she had designed it like a bell pull, so it was a long, skinny piece of fabric. So Grace Note Fabrics had dyed specially and cut in a skinny quarter, as opposed to like a fat quarter, a skinny quarter of this fabric called Blackberry Latte, and the stitch count on each piece is 51 by 71, and the fabric's 32 count. And I guess you could get it in a couple different, I think they had a couple different sizes there on her website. But so, anyway, and then the other thing they had for this bell pull is a header, and that the fabric can go on to make a bell pull. But it was made by, I can't think of his first name, but Mr. Twist. Beth Twist's husband, Beth Twist of Heartstring Samplery. Her husband makes these things out of like wood, dead wood on his property, right? A piece of a tree falls over, and so he can cut it up and make it into whatever. So he made these little, like, half round shapes. They have two cats painted on them, and then a bunch of stars cut out. It's really pretty. So those were the four things: the fabric, the patterns, the floss pack, and the little header thing, wooden header. And I thought, well, I just love them all, but I really, shouldn't do that. I can't afford them. So I was just going to order the patterns, but then I decided I want the fabric also, because I could dye it, and I had thought about doing 3 and 3, right? Just doing a big wider, thing, and I thought, well, I could dye the fabric something similar to this Blackberry Latte. That would be great, because I don't normally buy fabric that way. I've bought whatever they had at Hobby Lobby. Like they for a short while, they carried that 32 count Murano Carré in a few different colors, and I think nowadays they only carry one sort of an off-white color called Ice. And then they have a couple of colors of, they have like a blue and a white, and maybe an ivory of like even weave, 28 count even weave, and the very, very limited choices. Besides Ada, they have a lot of different kinds of colors and of Ada. But they don't really have a whole lot of different sizes of Ada even, so I have a bunch of white fabric, that I could dye, but I just haven't gotten around to dyeing anything. But anyway, so I thought about, okay, I could dye the fabric myself. I don't need the floss pack. It's Weeks Dye Works flosses. Either I probably have them all, or I could, maybe I could buy it at the attic or wherever. And, then the only thing I wouldn't be able to have myself was the little wooden header thing. But so my plan was just buy the patterns. But then when I looked at it, I thought, you know what? I want to buy it. I want to buy the fabric. I want the bell pull shape and everything. I want to do that just because it's very different. So I bought the patterns and the fabric. I placed that order. Okay. So they were sold out of the fabric, so they were waiting. It was, considered a pre-order or whatever, till they get more fabric in. But so I did that. I placed the order, and the patterns you could get either as a PDF download or you could get physical patterns. So I got the PDF download, right? And then I went back and bought the other two things. I bought the floss bag and I bought the little header thing. Yeah. But so I put them on my credit card, not on my debit card. I don't like to use the credit card for that sort of year just because it accrues interest and everything, and but I went ahead and did it. So I bought all four things. So I had done two separate orders, and I thought that's the little header thing was also on a pre-order because they were out of that as well, and so I texted Stephanie Webb, or the website or whatever, to say, since these are both pre-order things, can we just combine them and so that I can just do one shipping charge or whatever, and then also then a few minutes later, so I was waiting for the answer on that. I figured she'll probably do that, but then I had gotten an email saying your downloads are available now. So I was on my computer with where my printer is, so I could download those, and I was getting an error message. There was some problem with the download thing, and so I thought, what the heck, So then I went to Stephanie Webb's Lindsey Stitches website, and because she had a freebie, she had this little pattern. This is a Black Cat Season borders. So there's, some borders that you could use to separate the Black Cat Season patterns. And I'm going to show those in a second. But anyway, so I went to the website and I downloaded the borders. And so then I tried to pull up the thing again. And this time I got a little download box, and I clicked on it, and I got the error message again. It was something about a third-party vendor. There was an error in the third-party vendor, something like that. So I emailed again, and I said, I'm having this problem. So I had gotten a reply about the combining the orders. It's no problem. And then she sent me a link to download the thing, so that was no problem either. So I have all the patterns, And I folded these PDFs in half just so I could show them without showing the pattern, because the other half of the page is the pattern. So there's this one. This is number 1, Midnight Walker. So it says Midnight Walker Shadow Stalker. This is number 1. And number 2 is Black Cat Singing in the Dead of Night. Black Cat Singing in the Dead of Night, like the Beatles song. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Black Cat Singing in the Dead of Night. And this is number 3. Blackest Cat is the name of the pattern. May the blackest cat you've ever seen make you smile on Halloween. Yeah. And then number 4 is House Panther. Beware House Panther. It says deadly, I think. Yeah. Deadly and fierce. It's cute. And then number 5 is Good Luck. It says, see a black cat, pick it up. All the day you'll have good luck. little paws. So cute with pink toe beans. That's cute. And then number 6 is black cat season. Yeah. That's really cute. The white for the whiskers and all that is B5200, but otherwise they're all Weeks Dye Works colors. So, so I'm looking forward to if the fabric and the floss pack come soon enough. That'll be my second new start for the month of September. And if not, wait till October. But anyway, so yeah, that's my, I'm just itching to do those. So, okay, so I've been talking for an hour and I don't want to run out of time here. So I will, that's everything I've got for this month. So, I mean, for this week. So I will see you next week, I think. And until then, have a good time. Keep stitching. And thanks for watching. Thanks. Bye-bye.